to everybody who is watching this Virtual Biotech Cafe. And this Virtual Biotech Cafe is actually very special because for the first time we went international. And today we are talking to you from the Embassy of Lithuania in Belgium, Brussels. So, today our topic is unlocking international potential of Lithuanian Life Sciences. So I'm Monika Paulė, the CEO of gene editing company Kazai and the board member of Lithuanian Biotech Association. And I want to thank Kazai and Lithuanian Biotech Association for making this virtual biotech happen today, here from Brussels to you. So today our guest speaker is Dr. Brigita Serafinavičiūtė, the head of Lithuanian Research and Innovation Liaison Office in Brussels, also known by a very Lithuanian word, LINO. She's leading the activities of the LINO since the establishment of this office back in 2017, so already quite some time. And Brigita is a special person for Lithuanian science because she's active in the field for already quite many years, because her interest in research policy started back in 2003 when she joined Lithuanian Society of Young Researchers. Brigita holds PhD in ecology and environmental science and has Executive Master of Business Administration from Hult International Business School. Well, a unique mixture of academic background and business knowledge. Brigita is really a great person to lead Lithuanian science and innovation here in Brussels, because from 2008 to 2015, Brigita was the board member of the Research Council of Lithuania, acting as a scientific secretary of the council. And she's a Lithuanian delegate at the strategic configuration of Horizon Europe Program Committee. Well, an impressive background and experience, and you hardly would find a person in Lithuania with such kind of broad and long-term experience in research, science, innovation, and all the policy field. And it's great to have Brigita with me today. So hello, Brigita.
Hello, Monika. Really nice to meet you live here in Brussels. Actually, it's not only the embassy, it's also permanent representation of Lithuania to the EU. And we as LINO office, we are not part of these institutions, but we sharing the premises. So it's, I think, a great synergy and great company to be in these historic premises.
Yes, it's really impressive here, and so nice to see Lithuanian flag hanging in one of the busiest streets in Brussels. Okay, so Brigita, I would like to start from actually helping people to understand what LINO office is doing, and in general what kind of offices as such do, if they do exist, or is just a European practice, or do companies have such offices all around the world?
That's a good question, because I was trying to understand myself before starting these activities what liaison offices are doing. If I would answer in one word, that would be networking. And networking we do from both sides. We try to encourage Lithuanians to be more active, more visible in Brussels. And also we collect knowledge, information here from Brussels and try to convey that to the Lithuanian counterparts. So yeah, we basically acting as a bridge, you could say. And the offices like that, I think almost every EU country has, not even EU country, also like missions to Canada, or they have people who basically do the same as we do. There are even regions who have the offices and who are also partly covering research or innovation, like the Swedish regions, Polish regions, Italian regions, and there are many. If you would go the streets here in the EU quarter, you will see so many different names, brands, countries, regions who are actively present here in Brussels. I don't know when exactly this practice started, but I think when people realize that the ecosystem is quite complex in the EU in general, but also in the research and innovation field, and speaking about EU programs, so big programs as Horizon, you need some special people who are constantly monitoring and kind of feeling the pulse of where things tend to turn. What the big next thing is around the corner. So that's why you need this physical presence. And yeah, by physical presence you get also trust. And in networking, trust is a must, I would say. So now, of course, with the pandemics, things have changed a bit. But things that still worked online worked because you knew people from previous times when you met them physically, and you could build some, as I say, trust relationship. So we'll see how things will change. But yeah, Brussels is not the same as it was before pandemic. Still, it's recovering, but things are quite different. So you have to improvise and you have to be flexible. There is no guide or rule book how to be a liaison officer. So you just observe what others are doing, they observe what you are doing, and then you co-create, as they say in Brussels here.
Okay, a very business-minded word, just like to co-create this network of science and innovation. That's really nice. If I understand correctly, you cover all fields of science and innovation, so that's quite a lot.
Yes, well, we are a big, small team of 3 people who are constantly mainly being here in Brussels, but as I mentioned, like we also travel back to Lithuania because it's also important to meet people physically there. It's quite easy to forget that there is someone out there in Brussels, but so yeah, you need to build these connections also with the Lithuanian counterpart. But yeah, we try to cover everything. As I say, we are quite horizontal, so we know a lot about everything, but not very deep. Okay. But we can connect. We know people who know more, and then if somebody is asking, yeah, what about like EAC? Okay. Go to that NCP, go to that person, talk to these guys. They know more about that specific part of Horizon Europe in our case.
Okay. So, as you are covering all the scientific topics, so what are those, let's call them hot topics, that European Union and the Council is now focusing on and is focusing for the next 5-10 years? So where should we look at?
Yeah, there are some specific topics and also quite horizontal ones. The big new thing in Horizon Europe is European missions. I hope the audience heard at least something about that, which is still in the early phases of implementation. The governance of these missions is still not very clear, but yeah, it's a co-creation process, really. Like we hope, we have expectations that Commission or somebody will say how things should be done, but the thing is that we are improvising at the spot, together with the member states, the Council, the Parliament, so it's really the European way of doing things. And that's why it's very important not to wait until everything will be said, but really to engage in these discussions. And yeah, speaking about the missions, like one which is really relevant to biotech community, is the mission on cancer. And so there is a work program already, and some calls already very close, some are coming up. But it's only one part. It's in Horizon Europe. When we speak about actual implementation, the idea is to bring different sources together. So here we talk also about the national resources and kind of pulling them and really creating real synergies, because the challenges that these missions should accomplish, these are great challenges. So it's impossible to solve them only with 1 or 2 Horizon Europe projects. You also need not only funding, but also changing the mindsets of societies, changing legislative issues. So it's really a great mission if we'll manage to accomplish, but it's worth trying, I would say.
And if to look even more beyond, let's say what's already planned to emissions, are there any topics that even go further? Just maybe some interdisciplinary aspects, or the areas that, in general, the Commission would say that maybe we are not ready to focus on, but we will have to focus sometime in the future.
Well, the missions itself, it shouldn't be very narrowly understood as just a mission for one discipline or 2 disciplines. As I mentioned, the aim is to include the society in general. Like in the mission of cancer, patients are very important. And so it's also about changing mindset, which is, you need social sciences, you need humanities to be on board together. So that's one aspect. But speaking about other big things, one of the tendencies is the European autonomic sovereignty. And one of the newest legislative acts that was on the CHIPS Act, which is also very ambitious, because obviously we don't have all the capacities that we need in Europe to have this more or less autonomy from other countries. And now with crisis in Ukraine, with Russia, you see how everybody is dependent on various things. And the CHIPS Act, like energy, these are big topics. And it's also not only about research, it's a bigger policy framework that we need to tackle.
Okay. And we are coming from Lithuania. Of course, we are looking to global context. So do you see any potential for Lithuania to fall into these, both the missions and even further areas of focus?
I think there is no other way. Like, we have to. We just have to. Of course, we have the ambitions to be the number one, and somewhere all the time we have this urge to be the best. But I think it's more important to really be active part. And then it comes, then this number 1, 2, wherever it follows. If you really engage, if you dedicate your time, your resources, and take it seriously, not just pro forma. So I think if you would have this attitude everywhere, I think we'll achieve, we'll be noticed.
Okay, and at Virtual Biotech Cafe, we always focus, mostly to the life sciences, to the biotech industry. And we as Lithuanians are quite proud that we are the international players in this industry. But how do you see it from Brussels' perspective? Are we recognized at the European Union level as, to some extent, leaders, or at least, let's say, quite capable in the field?
Yeah, we do some capabilities, definitely, I think, yeah, we are not at that stage that everybody whom you would meet and say, yeah, I'm from Lithuania, and would say, biotech. Like, what happened with the Estonia, like, digital Estonia. So they managed to create that kind of level of knowledge about the country. So from that, looking from that aspect, we are not there yet. So there are a lot of things to be done. But as I mentioned before, I wouldn't focus too much on being the number one, the most recognized. Just doing what you do and do it well, and the things will come. Where I want to do recognition and everything. So just do what you love to do and do it well, very well.
What challenges are you actually see for the life sciences industry? Because, well, you see that, as you say, you cannot aim to be number one, probably because everyone is aiming to be number one, and you can be really the best in certain fields of life sciences because it's such a broad industry, and you're getting even broader and broader with new technologies. But let's say, what are the main challenges and what are the main opportunities that you could identify? Because, well, the aim of Virtual Biotech Cafe is, to give the people understanding. So what can we do together to make the biotech better?
Yeah, I think the challenges and the opportunities, they are very much related. So the challenge is that we should act more together as the industry in Lithuania, and not to really be too close, but also look for collaborations with other countries, other players. Like, being alone, you will not achieve that. That's the reality in our global world. So just go out, look for friends, make friends, partners, and I think that's the main challenge and also opportunity. This active, meaningful networking, not just for the sake of going to the conference, being there, yes, but trying to understand others, and then to see where are the main points of common interest, and to work together, and to be open, proactive, and optimistic.
And do you see any difference from, you represent science and innovation, so as we sometimes say, more academia and maybe more business side. Do you see this maybe a little bit different approach that, let's say, the biotech business is really kind of going global and, well, obviously very much looking to international markets, but the research side is more focusing locally or more focusing on European Union level?
Yeah, I think I could agree with that probably the focus is of academic community more towards EU, but that's very understandable because that's where the money is, the close money. And because European Union budget is made up of national budgets, so the money is ours in such a. And well, the companies they are eligible in many of these calls, and they do participate. But the difference here is that like these Horizon Europe projects, they are not at the commercialized level of commercialization. And for companies, well, the primary focus is income, the profits. And to do business, basically,
growth.
Which is that's why companies are companies and not charity funds as such. But I think that both of these sectors, if they really also would try to cooperate without any prejudices and so on, but just and not to trying to change others, because you cannot change business and make it think as university, or to make university to become like very business oriented stuff. They are different constellations with different missions, but taking some elements of one or the other and applying, I think that there could be quite some synergies. I'm using that word too much now. I think I've been in Brussels for too long.
Getting synergetic.
Yeah.
Well, I believe those novel technologies and innovative companies, they have this approach that still you have to collaborate with science. You are based on science, but of course you are looking how to commercialize those innovations. So maybe this, the synergy is already in the essence of these companies, and they are based on this synergy between research and innovation and commercial approach. It's maybe more from academia, from big business, that this all should also form into an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, well, as you quite critically said that, of course, Lithuania is strong in life sciences, but yet, let's say, we cannot call ourselves as, so widely recognized. But here, from the Brussels perspective, what are those areas, countries, cities that are those, top areas in Europe for life sciences, or even internationally?
Yeah, Belgium itself has some very strong research centers, don't know the names now, but and the issue with gene regulation came out, so Belgium was one of those that had an opinion on that. Then of course, France, Spain, Italy, UK, which was part of EU, but that's they are very strong in biotech. Germany, of course, they also
Mostly covered
Europe. I think biotech as such is a very sexy thing to have. Like every country wants to have share in that, or even regions. Some regions are very into that, like the area around Barcelona. So in Lithuania we don't have this strong identity of regions, but in other countries regions are the driving forces.
Yeah, this was quite a provocative question, because when you think about any country in Europe, you can already identify strong players in life sciences field, both academia and business, so it's really hard to distinguish, and it very much depends on the topics, which regions are stronger, but in general, yes. Life sciences is strong here in Europe, definitely. But from your experience, how would you recommend Lithuania to strengthen its image and its reputation?
Well, I think it's, we've done a lot in that respect. The government has clearly said what are the goals and supports this sector. But I think, we should change our minds a little bit, because you cannot achieve these things in a year to not even in 5 years. So it's a long-term game. And so we should allow ourselves time, and not to expect some miracles like that, or easy gains, because these things, biotech, they are complicated. I think you can tell yourself better than I guess. So you cannot expect some breakthrough results out of the blue. And the CRISPR-Cas is one of the perfect examples that how many fundamental research was done there before, until you are at the stage where you can speak about some commercial profits already.
And yet we still say that we are at the very beginning. And
Yeah,
there's so much to do.
So yeah, I would kind of wish us all some patience and at the same time persistence. Just as I said, like just go do what you do well, without this frustration that we can't achieve, still not there. Because I think the attitude is very important. If you do it because you believe in that, you are getting excited, like you, Monika, I see your eyes shining when you speak about gene therapies. So I think that's the driving force. And as the government, the public sector, the support is there, but let's just keep on going.
Yeah, well, I have the saying that, if you want to achieve your goal, there is just two options: work hard or work even harder.
Yes.
And then definitely you will achieve your goal, or at least to some extent. Yeah. Okay, Brigita. So, your experience from this professional side, well, it's impressive. It's so many years. Definitely, you know everybody knows you. So, a perfect.
I don't think so.
Well, at least at Lithuanian context, I think a lot of people know you, and those who don't, so they definitely
now
will
they will
learn.
know.
Now they will learn. But your own background seems very interesting. You came from science, from the research field. You have PhD, but at a certain point you moved more to this research administration policies, research politics and things like that. So what made you make that choice? Well, that was of course some time ago, but...
Yeah, some time ago, that's true. I think I can recall when my previous director of the Forest Research Institute, he was at some point telling me how the funding is coming from the budget to the institute and what are the criteria. Some things that you are not taught when you are student, bachelor, masters, whatever. And I was not a PhD student at that moment, I think. But then I understood, okay, it's about systemic things, and somehow it was interesting to me to understand how the system works. The institutional framework, regulations, the ways to influence. So somehow he managed to open this curiosity for these kind of things. And then naturally when you join like associations such as Association of Lithuanian Young Researchers, you do speak about research itself, but when you are from so many different fields, so the one thing that unites is also this interest in how to make things better in general for everybody. So at some point I think I really got excited in this field. And when I got the suggestion to join the Reformed Research Council, I said yes. And of course, when you are in the Research Council, then it becomes your daily job for all these political, administrative issues. And another reason why I moved in my career, because as I mentioned already, the ecosystem is quite complex. The European, the national systems, and there are so many requirements that researchers should comply with. Very horizontal issues like gender equality plans now, that's a new thing in Horizon Europe. Open science, communication. So basically every year there are more requirements that a good project proposal should tick. Mm-hmm. So in that respect, the role of research managers, or those who can support somehow actual researchers or innovators, is becoming more and more important. And in Lithuania, we have already this layer. It's still quite thin, but I think universities, institutes, they understood that we need to have the support systems at our institutions. So, and that was part of my choice. That I understood I could be a mediocre researcher, write some papers, something, but the topic that I was researching, I didn't believe in that's something that will change Lithuania or the world, or that it will really bring to some concrete results. So instead of being a mediocre researcher, I chose to be a bureaucrat.
Very good one.
Well,
professional.
Professional bureaucrat. Yeah, now I'm professional, that's for sure.
Okay, but after some years you decided to get an MBA, which is quite unusual, especially in Lithuania, with the doctoral degree later to go for MBA. So what led you to this decision?
Again, the whole setup that researchers are pushed more and more towards business side. To do research for the sake of the research is not fashionable anymore. So more fashionable is to do research which could be commercialized as such. And I understood that I have no real understanding about business. I have some understanding from observing what's happening, but I never worked in private sector. And so I thought, why not to understand better that side towards which research is pushed. So that was very interesting. And as I said, that's why now I'm sure that there are elements there that could be very beneficial for the whole research system, and as well, and vice versa. And that's why we need to be open to others and to come without prejudices and to exchange and to explore, to find new things, to change sometimes the mindset. I think I've changed mine during the years.
Well, that's what is called a professional. So I think definitely this business understanding, the understanding of business processes, managerial mindset has a lot of benefit for research, because you can still do research but be quite effective and focused on meaningful goals, and not make just exploring something for whatever reasons nobody actually understands. So it gives a lot of added value, and as to any other processes in each of us, or the lives of each of us. So as I understood, you really implement that in every day of your life, professional life. And what would you advise to the younger audience of or the people who are thinking about maybe moving to new career directions, or taking up some meaningful steps for changes in their life? What would you advise in the context of this research and innovation, and especially the life sciences?
Wow, that's a hard question, because it's not easy to change sectors, not at all. And in that respect, I think that the public sector is a bit more open, at least in Lithuania, for people from different backgrounds. Speaking about the business So what I see in the requirements for job seekers, if you are not from the business, if you don't have the exact experience, they don't see you as a potential worker. So that's yeah, an MBA is kind of plus here, but still, I probably couldn't find a job in the private sector, because I never worked for private sector. And there is this also prejudice that people from public sector, they are all bureaucrats, they are inefficient, they will corrupt the whole beautiful business model if you employ them.
Are you like that?
I don't know. As I said, I never worked for public sector. Actually, I would like to try at some point. Yeah, but it's not easy, this change. So you have to be very creative. And again, I think networking is probably the answer to this. Just to get to know people, to understand what are their needs, and then of course communicational skills are also important. Just expecting that you will send a CV and everybody will want you, I think these days are gone.
Okay, and what drives you? I mean, you are quite for a long time in this research and to some extent innovations ecosystem. And what drives you to push Lithuanian science and innovations further to work on its image, reputation, networks, and so on?
Yeah, indeed. Yes, quite some years. You count.
We don't tell the years, but
what the personal drive, I think, is this complexity, which is a bit annoying, I must say, and there is this probably not very realistic wish to make things more simple, more flexible, more easy, but as what we see in life, and every framework program gets more and more complicated, even though the slogan is, let's simplification. But the simplification ends up with some more complications. So there's this kind of perfectionism probably in me that wants to make things clear, neat and efficient, and it's a never-ending story to that. But on a more general level, I believe that research is a part of any modern society. You cannot imagine a country which doesn't have research and innovation layer as such. Maybe just education and that's it, or just tourism and that's it. I think our understanding about a modern, wealthy, successful country is very much based on this part. Of course, it would be very nice to see this in financial aspects as well, because it's not a secret that we still lag behind any normal GDP percentage that's allocated to research and innovation in general. And we still rely so much on structural funds. So there are things to be changed, but it's not only putting money in the system. The system, of course, has to change itself. It has to want to change. And change is also a very annoying thing, but it's inevitable. You cannot escape that. And I think the sooner we will understand that that's how it is, things are still changing. Whether you change or somebody change, you cannot fix things and say, done. Now we have everything clear. So the moment to stop, you're already behind.
Okay, so your work is never done. You are
true.
Like European Union is on a research and innovation mission, so Brigita is also on a mission. Very important one for Lithuanian science and innovation to prosper, to be well recognized all around the world, but firstly...
Yeah, but it's not a job of one person, not even a job of one office.
I think it's
people like you, the whole biotech community, that's a job of all of us.
Definitely. So everyone who was not familiar with what the LINO office is doing, so I hope you are now more familiar, and if you have
it's too complicated.
If you have interest in Brussels, if you need some help to understand what's happening here, so I believe Brigita and her team is there to help you, to guide you. Where to look for networks, funding, and maybe some change in policies and things like that. So how the things are working here. So please follow the LINO office on social media, and they have their newsletter, which is really very informative. So please subscribe, and you get all the greatest information. And it was really great to talk to Brigita and in this beautiful location here in Brussels. And as Brigita said, we all have mission as a biotech ecosystem of Lithuania to bring our life sciences industry, both academia, business, and everything in between, to this international level, and that's what Brigita is doing, and that's what we are doing all, and that's what also we are seeing with this Virtual Biotech Cafe. And as you probably noticed, we are not only doing the video translations, but we are also doing podcasts, and we are now on Spotify, so you can listen to us any time that is convenient to you. So thank you, Brigita.
Thank
today. And it was really, really great to meet you live after some time. And keep updated with what Virtual Biotech will be talking about next month. So,
and follow LINO office.
Yes. We will definitely put some information about LINO also on our social media and Spotify. So thank you, Brigita, and thank you everybody for watching and listening to us.